Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble and loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan, Shri Satya Sai Baba. I deem it as my privilege to bring to you another episode of his story through the eyes of his voice. Let's start this program with our prayer, and I request all of you to please join me in. O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee. Om Shri Sai Ram. We have just had the privilege and the blessing of celebrating Bhagavan's 95th birthday. And in the same joyous occasion, we continue this journey of listening to his saga, his divine stories, and the impact the Lord and his beautiful Leelas have created on each one of us. Today, it's my pleasure to bring to you another brother, Brother Amar Vivek Aggarwal. He was the first batch of MBA, the Masters in Business Administration. And we will listen from him that story unfolding to us about how the course came about and what all happened during that era. So I have the pleasure of inviting Brother Amar Vivek onto this program. Sai Ram, Brother Amar.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you very much, Brother Abhimanyu.
So nice to have you here. And let me quickly give a little introduction about you so that people know a little bit about yourself. Brother Amar, as I was mentioning, he came as a student in 1986 when the MBA course started. He's from Chandigarh actually, Chandigarh near Delhi, and he did his schooling from there. And then he did actually his bachelor's in law before coming to Perthi, and he took a break before he could finish that and came and did MBA. And after which he again went back and finished his bachelor's in law. He also did his diploma in youth development. I'm sure I would like to hear from him directly about what all he has done. Presently, Brother Amar Vivek is managing partner in his own firm, that is AV Sai Legal. He's a practicing attorney and a legal advisor, over 30 years of experience with the High Court and Supreme Court of India. He's also a founder trustee of Sri Satya Sai Grameen Jagrati, established in 1990. And this is a charity purely by the grace of Bhagavan and blessings of Bhagavan. He started and he was the instrument in this whole thing, which provides free education, schooling till 10th, with all the facilities. It also has an attached small hospital and a vocational school in a village in Haryana. And everything what is provided there is free of cost. So I'm sure we are going to hear more about all of that from Brother Amar. So let me have the pleasure of formally welcoming you and thanking you, Amar Vivek, for joining us in this program.
Sai Ram.
So why don't you say a few words about yourself and tell us how this journey started with Bhagavan?
I remember when we joined Bhagwan's institution, we were so blessed during those times. Bhagwan would often walk inside our classrooms. During one such visit, such lovely thoughts came from Bhagavan, which we have not forgotten. Bhagavan said, "You're all zeros, but I am that one who precedes the zero, because of which you become hero."
You get
So
value out of it.
whatever we are today is Bhagwan's gift to us. And whatever we be tomorrow will be our offering to him. That also because of his grace. So it is his grace that in 1977 I was able to join Sri Sathya Sai Bal Vikas. I joined pre-Sevadal thereafter, became a Sevadal member. But my proudest privilege came in 1981 when Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning was being inaugurated. As a Sevadal, we came and carried out the Seva activities in the construction of the administrative block, which was to be inaugurated on 22nd November 1981.
Amar, let me take you back, a little bit backtrack you, and let us hear the story from your beginning. How did you first of all hear about Swami, and how did the whole journey start with your family?
In 1971,
Yes.
Bhagwan came to Moga town in Punjab. My parents were blessed to be there and have his darshans. This is how Bhagwan entered, I would say, our lives. We had a picture of Bhagwan with us. My father was not keeping a very good health. His weight was going down. In 1977, myself, my mother, and my younger sister, we asked our father that could we visit Puttaparthi. So that would be our maiden visit to Puttaparthi, and my father would remain all alone at home. My father permitted us. All three of us, we came to Puttaparthi. When we were not there in our absence, one fine day, our father fell seriously sick. When we returned back from
And he was
Parthi,
home alone, and he was home alone. There was no help for him.
all alone at home, so we had Bhagwan's beautiful darshans at Parthi. When we returned back, our father was very excited to receive us. He took us to his bedroom, which he had locked. And then he narrated this beautiful incident. And as a 14-year-old child, I remember vividly each and everything in that room. He narrated that one late evening, he felt as if his body had paralyzed, lower body especially. So he was lying down on his bed, half asleep. And he was virtually saying that in this hour of crisis, his wife and children have left him. So suddenly from ventilator, he saw a form coming down and he asked this form, "Who are you?" So this form was bending on his body without touching him. The form says, "I am goddess of health and Sai Baba has sent me to you. What is your problem?" So he described his pain, agony, and the form is, putting his hand on his body and saying that now I will be staying with you. Don't worry, Bhagwan has blessed you. And my father says I went to sleep. Next morning when I got up, he was astounded to see vibhuti poured all over his person, his bed, and he saw pug marks of vibhuti from his bed till the ventilator. He immediately locked the room, and when we came to see that room actually, after our Parthi visit, we saw Bhagwan's pug marks actually in the room.
The footprints of Bhagwan.
Yes, the footprints. So this
But
is
the
how.
form, but the form he saw, was it like a gross body, or is it just an
It
imagery
was a
of the
natural
form?
body. He doesn't remember anything except a white form bending towards him, because he says I was half asleep. I was not dreaming. So this is how Bhagwan came, and this really impelled us to join Sri Sathya Sai Bal Vikas, a very beautiful thing happened on the first day of my Bal Vikas class. So our Bal Vikas Guru asked me that if you want to come to Bhagavan, you have to give up something. So I told her, I said, ma'am, I am listening to radio songs. Hereinafter, I will not listen to the songs. So what I want to tell you, that when Bhagavan wants to enter your lives, and he actually enters, he will make sure that he starts the cleansing process inside you. Because when he is there, his grace is there, everything else simply melts away. So this is the beauty of Bhagavan's entry into our lives. And I still remember in 1981, I was appearing in my graduation examination, and I was not preparing full course. I was relying on some guesswork. Bhagavan appears in my dream and corrects me. He says, when you go to write the exam, prepare the full course. And I am arguing with him in the dream that Bhagavan, only 10 days are left, course is enormous. But Bhagavan says, no, I'm cautioning you. And I remember from the guesswork, which I was originally relying, only 15 marks question had come. So this is how Bhagavan prepares you on his path. His grace simply overwhelms our lives. And that is what we are seeing day in and day out, how Bhagavan has taken over our lives. Without
Excellent.
him, everything
So
is
in
being.
81, I believe you said you went to Perthi as a Sevadal
That's right.
and joined the construction of the administrative block on the hilltop.
That's right.
So
And
at that time, college was also not there. Only, I guess, Ishwarama school was running. So
true,
what did you see that
I
like made
saw
you?
the beautiful hello of the institute. You know that one evening the light was fully glowing. I stood underneath. I prayed to Swami that Bhagavan, can I come and join this institute at any point of time?
Okay.
So, and that wish was finally answered in a very miraculous manner in 1986.
So how did you decide to apply? Like how that happened?
No, I
Because you
in
didn't join in the college then, you joined straight in 86. So it was like a long time after.
So 1981, I was doing my graduation. In 1984, we had the final year of our Bachelor of Arts course, which I was pursuing, but our exams were inordinately postponed because of the militancy in North India at that time and Operation Blue Star, etc. So our exams got postponed till the month of August, September. So naturally, I was left to apply only to colleges here in North. So I applied for law course in 1984, and I joined law course. In 1986, I was working in a village as a Sevadal. Now, our Sevadal convener came and showed me a circular that MBA program is being started in Perthi. So
Okay.
I immediately decided to break up from the law college because that time they allowed this facility. I could break after 2 years, and I applied for MBA. It was a marvelous thing. I had not studied maths after 1980, that was after my matriculation. So I started preparing myself. Most wonder of the things was that when I went to write the entrance examination, one of the questions, essay type questions, was on Swami Vivekananda's unity of religion thought. A few days earlier, in one of the Satyasai organization meetings, I had delivered a talk on that subject. So another topic was the great Indian leaders of India, on which topic also I had delivered a talk. So, I mean, it was all Bhagavan's plan, master plan, how to get you into the college. So this is how I was able to clear that hurdle of entrance test.
So you're giving a tip to the people who want to join MBA, join Sevadal.
Well, I would say this is a lateral entry.
So
Sevadal is a lateral entry.
If you are a
Yes.
part of Sevadal, you will learn automatically everything, yeah? And you became an MBA student.
In fact, I
So
remember one.
did you ever wanted to be a always wanted to be a lawyer?
Well, the seeds were already sown. My father was a practicing lawyer since 1959. So I always wanted to be a lawyer. But I did not know how things will change. Once I joined Bhagwan's course as MBA student, I was about to finish my MBA. In fact, I had finished my MBA. I still remember it was 17th August 1988 when Bhagwan took my hands in his hands and asked me, "What will you do for me? You got such mother's love, thousands of mother's love here, free education, integrated education here at Parthi. What will you give me in return?" And I looked at Bhagwan and I said, "Bhagwan, anything which you say." Bhagwan said, "Promise?" I said, "Yes, Swami. Don't bring bad name to Sai. This is what I want from you in return." So this is Bhagwan's majesty. And then Bhagwan said, "Go back, join law. Your parents need you." I said, "Bhagwan, I'm not going to join law field." He said, "Why?" I said, "It's not a good profession." He said, "Who told you? What's the meaning of LLB?" He asked me. And then he gives me a beautiful meaning. He says, LLB means live and love Baba. If you live on my ideals, you love me. Be in the profession and follow me. Follow my words. And that is how you will love me. So he changed the entire meaning for me.
Beautiful.
That is how Bhagwan does to you.
Lovely. Okay, let me ask you, because you were from Chandigarh and you had studied in other college. So when you joined the portals of Puttaparthi, what was your first impression? How did
Well,
you
when
like the college, hostel? It's a very different environment, right?
yes,
So
totally.
how would you define
I
that?
say four striking things which happened to me. The moment I got down from the bus at bus station in Puttaparthi, one evening at around 7 p.m., probably it was 17th August, I was carrying a whole doll, a big, bedding, suitcase, bag with me. Suddenly, I found three, four students in white uniform asking me, "Brother, are you going to a hostel?" I said, "Yes." And immediately they took away the entire luggage from me and they asked me that you keep the water bottle with you. And they took me to the hostel. And on the way, they had asked me which course you are joining. And yes, MBA course. Okay, okay, brother, your room is A1. So they made me settle down in the room. One of the brothers came running and handed me over a tumbler and a plate. And he said, "Brother, go and join the dining hall for the food."
So he gave you his plate
Yeah,
and tumbler.
complete. And I went to the dining hall. I had food there. I came back, washed his tumbler and plate, and returned to him. And I asked him, "Brother, where can I get the enrollment done?" He says, "Everything is done. Tomorrow morning, you will join the institute. So all those formalities will be done there. Meanwhile, you can go to the stores. You can purchase whatever bucket, etc. you require." And the hostel was already welcoming me as a family member. I never knew that at 7 p.m. on that day, how would I will be welcomed. But there were people already ready for me, as if. So this was the first thing that the students in Satyasai Institute, they never competed against each other. They were like, cooperating in every step. So they were like my partners. I never felt that I am at a foreign place. All of a sudden, I am being introduced to a new world. It was as if I'm already part of this family. So this was one thing which I have never seen in any other institute. And the second thing is the teachers who have been deputed by Bhagwan. I remember my teachers, Prabhakar Rao sir, Bhagya sir. I was not very well versed in mathematics, as I told you earlier. So these teachers would take the trouble of coming down to hostel to teach me, to make sure that I am able to get good marks in mathematics. Idea was not to sail through. Idea was that Bhagavan wanted everybody to pass an outstanding grade, O grade. And he would make sure that his students meet their targets. And his teachers, they worked so hard with me. I mean, they would leave no stone unturned to make sure that their students were able to secure the grade, and that is the result they had kept with themselves to be presented to Bhagwan. So they were working for Bhagwan, but they were treating us as gift of Bhagwan. So that spirit in the teachers.
Who was the teacher who teach mathematics to you?
Prabhakar Rao sir, and eventually Bhagya.
Bhagya, Mr. Bhagya. Okay.
Yes.
They're very lovely people, no doubt about it.
Lovely, and I can never in my life forget them.
Your dean was Professor. Huh?
Professor Saigal. He was our dean.
Yeah.
And the way these people really worked with us, honed our skills, I have no words of gratitude for them. The words will always fall short. But this was the second beautiful thing. The third thing which I found in the institute, which had hostel as its part, that we would do everything in the hostel. In fact, I have a very beautiful incident to narrate on my hostel life.
Sure.
We got slightly late. Our course began on 21st August 1986, whereas the normal institute would start from around 1st June. So as a result of which, we were given only limited work in the hostel self-reliance program, that is serving the breakfast. So we were 28 boys in MBA. 14 of us alternately every week we would serve the breakfast. One fine morning when we got up, we found that there was no water in the hostel. And 70 of boys, we lined up to the hilltop to fetch water in the buckets. So as we were fetching the water, the serving of breakfast got delayed. Now, our classes would begin at 7:30 in the morning. So we told the other 14 boys that why don't you rush to the institute and inform in fact, it was dean's class that day. So you inform our dean that we will be slightly late. That day we skipped the breakfast. And 14 of us, we rushed there. We were late by about 20 minutes. And in fact, I was virtually number one amongst those. As I was taking off my slippers to enter the classroom, the dean came and, to my shock, banged the door on my face and said, "Get lost. You're not allowed." I was taken aback. And by the noon, we were issued show cause notices, 14 of us, why you should not be marked absent for 7 days for coming late to the college. Suddenly from nowhere, the lawyer in me woke up. And I took a very unfortunate decision to leave the college that day.
Within a month of joining.
It was probably 17th of September 86. And by evening, I had packed my bags. But our MBA program had a beautiful blend of senior boys. Senior means those boys who had been studying in Bhagwan's college for a number of years. And freshers like me, who
actually is a good point to highlight here that when the MBA started, we had many of the students who were either new to Bhagwan or first timers in the campus, or sometimes even who were not even devotees of Baba.
Correct.
So such kind of a combination we had, and it was mixed with the students who were already studying there, and they graduated to they do the course of masters in business. So I think that is what Amar is mentioning. So,
yes.
So when you talk about senior boys, they are not senior in terms of class, but in terms of the seniority of staying in Parthi.
At Bhagwan's feet. So one of the
boys, they were seniors. Yes, please go on from then. Yeah.
One of the boys came, senior boys. He looked at my packed luggage And he took me to the hostel. We had a D floor, open roof in the hostel. So
That's
took
like a
me,
terrace. Yeah.
yes, terrace, which was our, I would say, place to penance. Many a times we would go to
We
D
used to
floor.
sleep there, meditate there, and all that. Yeah.
So he took me there and he asked me, brother, so you have decided to leave? I said, yes, brother, I have decided to leave today. And then he asked me, he says, Amar, why did you join Bhagwan's Institute? Obviously not for MBA program. MBA you could have done anywhere in Chandigarh in one of the best institutes. But why did you come here? Is it not a fact that you came here only for Bhagwan? And then he narrated one beautiful thing to me. He says, this Bhagwan is very different. You have to establish a relationship with him. If you establish a relationship with him, then he's not going to leave you for ages. He's going to overwhelm you, your whole family. But for that, you will have to make an effort. And if you have come here for Bhagwan, then nothing should matter to you. But let me tell you one thing. If you go back today, leaving this course here, probably your parents will not even allow you to enter your house. They will say, you have left Bhagwan's Institute midway and come here? What for? Please think over this. On the contrary, if you establish a relationship with Bhagwan, then what will happen to you, I cannot describe. And immediately there was a change in my heart. Immediately. I repented a lot as to why I had taken such a wrong decision. And that night, I did not sleep. Whole night I was crying, remembering Bhagwan. But I never knew that very next day, Bhagwan is going to open floodgates of grace for me. So 18th September morning, incidentally, I was to deliver a talk in the institute auditorium. We had Thursday morning sessions in the institute. So immediately after the session, we got a message that the MBA boys and the MCOM boys were being called by Bhagwan in the mandir. So immediately all of us, we rushed to the mandir. Now, Bhagwan was coming and asking, who is Aggarwal from Chandigarh? And as soon as I came to know, I immediately came on my knees. So he asked me, what is your name? I said, Swami, Amar Vivek. He looked into my eyes and said, Hamara Vivek? And I was speechless. And then Bhagwan went on, if you are good, you are Hamara Vivek. If you are bad, I Hamar Vivek. Those words of Bhagwan, they simply overwhelmed me. And brother, let me tell you, whenever I pronounce my name or somebody pronounces my name as Amar Vivek, I only remember one thing, Hamara Vivek.
Hamara Vivek.
That name which Bhagwan has given me, that change in name which Bhagwan has brought for me, has become so meaningful and realistic for me. So that was
19 hours.
You know what? Bhagwan brought this. And then he asked me, in fact, I was wearing a copper ring of Bhagwan in my ring finger. So he immediately looked at it and he said, remove this copper ring because you are eating here food with rasam and rasam causes reaction. So I immediately took off the ring and put it in my pocket. He looked at me and said, yes, Swami can give you gold ring. That golden ring is what Bhagwan has tied around us, the ring of love. So this is how I say that the institute at Bhagwan's place, what it has given you is totally different from what we get in the other institutes.
So that was your first conversation with Bhagwan also formally?
Physically, yes. This was my first ever. of being able to interact with Bhagwan. But let me tell you, brother, the words of my senior brother, when you establish relationship with Bhagwan, Bhagwan is not going to give you up. So this is foremost and primary thing which all of us must remember and must do. We need to establish that relationship. Today, unfortunately, when my brothers and sisters studying in Bhagwan's institute today, who do not have that benefit of Bhagwan's physical sannidhi, they may always ask this question. But yes, if you establish relationship with him, then you will never find that he is not amongst us. He's very much there all the time. This is the difference.
I know it was very soon after that when Bhagavan really started, interacting with all of you, and he expressed that he wanted to share little bit. You remember that drama
Yes,
he played with all of us? So I think you want to share that with everybody. How that MBA became MMM.
yes. It was first day of our college, and word management was written on the blackboard when Bhagwan walked inside and asked us, what is the meaning of management? So we had learned very big definitions that day. So I got up and said, Bhagwan, Mary Parker Follett says MBA is the art of getting things done. Bhagwan smiled at me and said, doing yourself nothing? But then he picked up the chalk and underlined word manage, men, and T for time. He says management is a wholesome concept of managing men and time. He then said management is MMM, management of men. If men can be managed, anything in life can be managed. And this is how Bhagwan's sessions started. He started, teaching us. He started taking our classes. Every week he would come to the college and, he would take up one or the other topic. I still remember once he told us that he will be teaching us ZBB. Now, ZBB concept was zero-based budgeting. If I get up in the morning, I have 10 rupees in my pocket and I have liabilities of 100 rupees. So I will be confused how to spend, money for my liabilities. But ZBB means I spend 10 rupees wisely. Now, what Bhagavan told, ZBB means zero-based bhakti. He says every morning you get up, you are down with the thought that yesterday so and so hurt me, yesterday so and so spoke harsh words to me, yesterday I spoke to somebody in a wrong manner, in a wrong tone. He says when you get up in the morning, you say, Bhagwan, I am born today. I do not know what happened yesterday. I surrender myself at your feet. Please make my day pure today. Let me live a life of purity and remembering you. He says this is zero-based bhakti, that every day you start fresh. If you start fresh, forget the past. I am going to take over everything. So this is how, he used to introduce these concepts in a very subtle manner. And the art of management, so many things we learned. One day he spoke to us about waste management. Another day he spoke to us about the unnecessary needs being created by advertisement. He said that, advertisement should be for the nation building. It should not be for adding your wants endlessly. So these are the concepts which we learned directly from Bhagwan's feet, being with him. And that was the wonderful thing. So every week he used to come and take our classes.
Yeah, that was happening in the AV room. And,
Yeah.
we all were privileged to be there, only the small section.
Yes.
And I remember first day when Swami came in, he said, tell me, what should I speak on? And
Correct.
I think Vice Chancellor introduced everything. And he said, Swami, please talk about management. He used to play with you all, asking you
That's right.
what is
That's
the
right.
definition of economics and what
He
is
would say,
management. And
yes. Sometimes he would say, no, no, I went till eighth class. I know nothing.
I have studied only till school, eighth class. I don't know anything. And then
Yeah.
boys would tell him,
And
Swami, Swami. And then,
one day, the way he started quoting Peter Drucker, the management thinkers, oh, it was amazing to listen to him. We were all wondering that the way Bhagavan was telling. And I remember probably in 87, Peter Drucker introduced a new chapter in his book of management on ethos, ethics in management, which Bhagavan had already started a program,
full
in
course on it. Yeah.
as a course of 1986. So that was simply majestic.
Because I remember, I'm sure you must have heard about it. Professor Saigal once mentioned that in framing the whole program of management MBA, your routine, Bhagwan was directly involved and engaged. Do you know anything about it?
In
Let
fact,
me
we
show you a
learned,
picture of.
yes, we
Yeah,
learned it in a very
people
hard
should
manner.
see. He's Mr. This on the extreme right is
Mr.
Professor
Saigal,
Saigal.
Professor Saigal, yes, our dean who
He
started
was the
here.
dean of the faculty,
Correct.
and rest of them are your classmates. Who is this saint?
He is Swami Bhumanand Bharati, who had come there, and we had All India Sadhus Conference in
Aha, it's at that time.
February
Okay, okay.
1987. So it is Swami Bhumanand Bharati stayed with Bhagwan for a long time. So he was
Yeah,
regarded as one of the Shankaracharyas. And
yes.
so when we went to Kodaikanal, this is the Kodaikanal trip photograph in April 87. So Swami Bhumananda Bharati also accompanied us.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So you tell
I
us about
remember,
the course development and how Bhagwan. Do you know anything about it? Like how
yes,
Bhagwan was involved? Yes, please.
it happened in a very different manner. The Vice Chancellor, uh, Professor Somnath Saraf, one day he walked in our classroom and he started asking us about our difficulties, about our problems. And we were waiting the lid to open, and we started blabbering. 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. we have classes, we have very hectic schedule. We do not know, how to carry out our projects by ourselves. There is no time left for self-study. The hostel lights, they are switched off by 10:30 p.m. and we have to get up early in the morning. There is a schedule and all those things. And the Vice Chancellor very calmly listened to us. And thereafter, he assured, don't worry, Bhagwan is there. That evening, we were called for interview by Bhagwan. And Bhagwan was very unhappy with us. He said, name one institute anywhere in the world where Vice Chancellor would walk down to a classroom and inquire from the students about their difficulties. If you have problems, it is your duty to seek an appointment with the Vice Chancellor, go to his room, and then speak to him, instead of collectively getting together and speaking to him. Bhagavan told us one very wonderful thing. He says, this institute is a place where you learn about four things, four traits of a personality: behavior, conduct, discipline, and manners. He says, if you have less marks, then I will give you grace marks. But on remarks, I give you no marks. How you have to deal with your Vice Chancellor? He is my representative. Then he started narrating how I planned this course meticulously all by myself for you. Because we had 7 subjects in which we were supposed to write exams. And it was not actually a semester, it was more or less a trimester. So we had other activities also because we were required to participate in the hostel program, the other programs, the seva activities, etc., even games. So then Bhagwan narrated to us that I have designed this, and then Bhagwan said, the brahmacharya is like 100 monkeys put together. So I have to tame these 100 monkeys. For that reason, I have made this program very tight for you. Everything I have designed. So therefore, you have to cope up with it. And I know that you will be able to cope up and you will enjoy this. Enjoy this program thinking that Bhagavan has done this, and then you will have no problem. So this is how, each and every course, like the great Indian leaders from the industry, the great Indian leaders like Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagavan used to speak about them. Even J.R.D. Tata, the way he has brought philanthropy, the way he's brought changes in the industrial world. So Bhagavan used to speak about them and tell us that, see, these are the people who have done exemplary work in their respective fields.
I want to highlight that the 7 courses which you are talking about were in semester. So in a year, it was like 14 plus courses.
Yes.
And in all the courses, expectation was Bhagavan that everybody should get an O grade.
Yes. Oh, that was.
And his definition of leaders was that not because they are financially rich or they are, big businessmen, they were morally and character-wise very strong.
Right.
And that is why JRD was very famous for him. He used to love quoting JRD.
For us, individual character and national.
National character.
Bhagavan said you have to develop both. If you are individually morally strong, then no harm can ever come to you. At the same time, you have to develop national character. You have to take care. In fact, you will remember Bhagavan used to tell us that you have to repay the debt of 4 mothers. First is your Janani, second is your teacher, third is your motherland, and fourth is God himself. So he says your every activity should be directed to repay the debt of these 4 mothers whom you can never repay. And that is how he used to classify the individuals, the great Indian leaders who have been working not only for their own sake, but for the sake of their country as a whole. So these 2 traits, individual character and national character, this is how Bhagavan used to, tell us.
In MBA is a very important element that you have to go to a factory visit, so to say. So how was Bhagavan involved in those things? Because boys had never stepped out of campus to study.
You see, it was all very great master plan and a big drama, in fact. So what happened that Bhagavan called the dean and gave him a program that why don't you take boys to the factory visit for about 1 month in Bangalore. There are so many factories. Why don't you organize a visit? So Bhagavan gave him some paper where Bhagavan had planned something. Next morning, our dean, with a zeal to make it a very, highly skilled and specialized factory visit, brought a plan and gave it to Bhagavan. From 8 a.m. till about 7:30 in the evening or 8 in the evening, we would visit this factory for 1 month. Bhagavan looked at the program and Bhagavan did not show reaction, but he was very upset. He said, during these 30 days, boys will not see me even once. And he said, no, Bhagavan, every Sunday they will see you. He says, no, I don't like this. And Bhagavan disapproved of that program. So now we do not know how to respond, whether to support the program or whether to oppose the program. But then Bhagavan was very kind enough. So he asked an elderly gentleman, why don't you devise a program? So our factory visit was organized. We were all taken to Vrindavan. We stayed there and Bhagavan stayed there for 1 month. But the best part of the story was that the way we were received in these factories, they used to treat us as representatives of Bhagavan. And I remember in Bharat Electronics Limited, when we went there, they took us to those, facilities which were highly confidential. The night vision binoculars, the way it was being developed. So they took us there. And many a times, Bhagwan would narrate to us those things in the evening. He would wait for each of the students. The best part of the story is that all 28 of us, Bhagavan would wait for us in the evening in the Trai Vrindavan to have the session, to ask us how your factory visit went, what all transpired there. So, and Bhagavan would discuss with us each and every minutest detail that had transpired during the day. So that personal time which Bhagavan would give us, I would say it was most precious thing in our lives. And that full 1 month we had, I would say it was Sai Bhagavatam. In the morning, it was factory visit. In the evening, it was overwhelming with Bhagwan's, discussions. And Bhagwan used to tell us, one day it so happened that the white shirt which we were wearing, it got sullied because of some grease or something on the machine. So then Bhagwan said, this is how you have to behave in a workplace. You have to wear clothes in this manner. You have to walk in this manner. You have to look both sides. You can't walk in a casual manner. And similarly, Bhagwan held sessions on our Sealing on Desires program and how you have to curtail your desires. So all those evening sessions, they were priceless.
I see a picture of Swami stopping on the highway.
Yes.
And talking to you in car. So do you have any memories of that?
Oh, yes, wonderful. In fact, we were going to Kodaikanal. On the way, there was a forest rest house where message had already been conveyed few days back that Bhagwan would be coming with his students. So when we reached there, the guest house was locked and the attendant was not there. So Bhagwan waited for us, and then he told us that why don't you go behind? There will be some table. We saw a table, we brought it. Bhagwan kept food on that. Each one of us was served food personally by Bhagwan. Even water, Bhagwan served with his own hands to all of us. And that was simply majestic. So all of us got food from him. And then Bhagwan sat inside his car and started singing songs. And, we all were sitting around him. And only after a while, the attendant turned up. And the moment he looked at Bhagwan and his students, he was, taken aback and he started apologizing to Bhagwan. So Bhagwan said, don't worry, it's me that, who preponed the time. But Bhagwan was sitting with us all the time. Now, this gentleman requested Bhagwan that, Bhagwan, why don't you visit inside? Because I have prepared for so many days. And then Bhagwan took us inside the rest house. And then Bhagwan, perfectionist in him. Suddenly he called Radha Krishna brother and asked him, why don't you bring that packet? And immediately Radha Krishna brother brought a beautiful packet and gave it to Bhagwan. Bhagwan gave it to the attendant. The moment attendant opened it, he started crying. On the previous year, when Bhagwan had come, this attendant's family was also there. So Bhagwan had taken pictures with that attendant and his family.
Oh,
now,
so
some
sweet.
student would have clicked those pictures. Some student would have shown it to Bhagwan. Bhagwan would have taken out those pictures, kept with himself for 1 year. And during this visit, Bhagwan took care to take those pictures to bring that joy to this attendant who otherwise had not reached in time. Any other person would have blasted him out of shape. But Bhagwan presented those pictures to him. And this man, he had such a cherishing memory, of his lifetime when Bhagwan gave. So this perfection in Bhagwan, this is the management which we are to learn from him. The way he used to behave like human, being avatar. These are the things which we learned. I, in fact, will narrate you one incident in our hostel life.
Sure.
We had ups and downs. Ups and downs means many times Bhagwan would not speak to us. On one such occasion, what happened that immediately after our Kodai trip, when we were riding Cloud 9, so suddenly we came to know that we were to be interviewed by some university experts from outside. So we had finished our syllabus in April, our exams. May, we were away for factory visit. June, we were away for a whole month. And when we landed in July, first thing was the Viva and the interview. And we didn't perform well. Bhagavan felt very much unhappy at our performance. And he stopped talking to us. So we were suddenly crestfallen. On one hand, we were all the time with Bhagavan at Kodaikanal, and suddenly Bhagavan is not coming towards us. So what happened? 2-3 of us, including me, we stopped taking food. So probably it was third day in the evening, our Professor Nanjundaya, who was the controller at that time, he came to the hostel. He held a meeting with us and he said, "Boys, I have come to tell you a very shocking thing. Do you know, for last 3 days, Bhagavan is not taking food. And do you know why? He gave me the names of the boys who are not taking food for last 3 days. I will separately speak to them. So tell me, what should I go and tell Bhagavan?" So we were all in tears. We said, "Sir, we are going to have food immediately. And please convey to Bhagavan that we are highly, highly apologetic at our behavior." So he went and conveyed to Bhagavan, but Bhagavan still was unhappy. He was not speaking to us. And that, pain was growing. Now it so happened that we had a couple of holidays in between during Vijayadashmi time. Somebody presented a book to me, an elderly person, on Shirdi Baba's life, this Sai Sachrit, and asked me to read this book in 7 days. So I read the book in 7 days. The 7th day came. I finished reading the book. Then our colleges had opened in the meanwhile. In the morning, I finished reading. But I was thinking that if I would be in my house, my mother would make some prasadam and distribute to everybody. Here, after reading this book, how do I distribute the prasadam in the hostel? Because we were not supposed to go out and fetch anything. But that day was Thursday, and paisam would be served in our college dining hall. So I decided that when I come back in the hostel, so I would get hold of this paisam tub and start distributing paisam. This was my plan. The moment I reached the mess, there was a teacher standing there, and he asked me, "Amar, are you free for something?" So I thought that my plans would be now disturbed. So I was a bit hesitant to respond to him. So he said that if you're busy, then I will give it to some other senior boy. I said, "No, sir, I'm free. Please tell me." He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." So he took me inside the mess, showed me boxes of sweets. He says, "Bhagwan has sent sweets and he wanted some senior boy to distribute to all. So please take over." So that sweet incident gets always embedded in my heart. How Bhagwan sees through your heart's wishes and how he fulfills them. So these things are such cherishing moments in our lives, which we'll not be able to forget. And
because I know there was few students who were. I'm getting echo.
well, from my side, I think it's fine.
I don't know. I believe there were some students who were not devotees of Swami in your class. Do you have any memory of them? Any interaction with Bhagwan?
In fact, as you have rightly said initially, that our class was a blend of different categories of students. So there were 2 students who so-called, who were not devotees, so-called, I would say. So they had probably no interest in Bhagwan's sessions, in speaking to him that closely, and all those things. I remember in Kodai, it so happened that one early morning we were all sitting across Bhagwan. Bhagwan looked at us and he said, "Where is that boy?" So we found him missing. Now Bhagwan said, "You are all, not paying attention. He is not well." So we all rushed to the room and Bhagwan came there also, where he was sleeping. So Bhagwan woke him up and asked him that what has happened to you. So he narrated that, "Bhagwan, I have fever, I have discomfort." So Bhagwan materialized dates for him and gave it to him. Now this boy refused to take dates. He said, "Bhagwan, I don't want this." Bhagwan in his compassion materialized capsules. So he took capsules. And then Bhagwan said, "You must take rest today. You should not come down." And made sure that all of us would serve food to him and will take care of him. And by evening, this boy felt very, very, uncomfortable. So he came for the session. Then Bhagwan asked him, "How are you feeling now? Why you came? You should have taken rest." So Bhagwan would go to the extent of, doing anything for us. That was a real learning. I, in fact, remember one incident in Kodai that food was laid down and we would offer Brahmarpanam. Bhagwan would be sitting on a table. We would wait for Bhagwan to have food. So that day, Bhagwan didn't have food. He just motioned that all of you take food. But we were requesting Bhagwan, first you take. And Bhagwan, like a child, told us, "No, today I am not going to have food. None of you offer to me." So we said, "No, Bhagwan, we just now recited Brahmarpanam." So he said, "No, that is not offering. That is table point." You see, when you are having food in front of you, you close your eyes. Or if you are reciting Brahmarpanam, at least imagine in your minds that the food in front of you, you are making me eat. I am making you eat this food. Similarly, if you are sitting in a bhajan session, you are imagining Dana Bhanjan Ram, Sai, Shamal, Komal Ram. But don't imagine that demons are being killed by Rama. Imagine that the demons of vices are being killed by me in you. So he says, when you become realistic in terms of food eating, then food will become prasadam. Similarly, in bhajans, when you are, sitting with me and imagining that I am with you, I am killing all vices in you, I am taking care of you. So the bhajans will become meaningful. He says, this is how Mirabai used to sing her songs. So those lessons at Bhagwan's feet, the way they were taught to us, I think they have made our lives meaningful. That is how, every time.
Yeah. My memories of that session of MBA is very vivid because it was very unique to see Swami so informal and casual with the newcomers. Because once you get initiated with Bhagavan, you have a certain reservation what you can talk in front of him because there is nothing you can't say to him. So you have to just, most of the time you love to listen to Bhagavan rather than speak to him. But here when the new boys came, it was a lot of interaction.
Correct,
you could
correct.
see, and Swami was also equally fun. He was playing around. So it was a very much fun when he would create, you remember he would create an idol just like that, show power of mantra shakti, and here we go. And then he will say, look, he'll blow it 3 times and it'll change the whole thing. So it was a lot of fun that way. So Amar, you have seen Bhagwan, you got introduced to him with a very service oriented mood. Then you saw him in this casual mood, caring, loving, guiding. And what is God for you now?
You see, I have one feeling that He's always with me. As I told you in the beginning, that He brought a new name for me, Hamara Vivek, and with a message: if you are pure, you are Hamara Vivek. And then when He told me the new meaning of word LLB, that love my words. So what has He done is that through His message, He's made everything alive for me. For me, God is always with me. This relationship was not there earlier, I would very candidly say. But when this relationship was developed, Bhagavan became live with me all the time. This is how, like His message, that don't bring bad name to me. This is what He wants from me in return. So my actions have to be dedicated to Him. Now, when Bhagavan has entered our lives, there is nothing but purity there. So all the time we carry this responsibility on our shoulders, that through purity we attain divinity. Because otherwise, the purpose of being at Bhagavan's place can only be achieved if we are able to fulfill those objectives. So for me, most important thing is that if I wear vibhuti mark on my forehead, then I carry this responsibility that Bhagavan is all the time with me, and I must behave all the time in a manner befitting Bhagavan's student. So now I am not a student only for some time, I am a student for life of Bhagavan. So this is the change which I am seeing in myself, that Bhagavan is all the time present with me. So according to me, that divinity which we used to worship Bhagavan in a picture or in a stone, that divinity was, I would say, a misconception. But today, when we see Bhagavan all the time with us, like I'll give you an example. Once a lady came to me, a widow. She had lost her husband and son in a tragic road accident. Her daughter's marriage was scheduled a few days later. So she brought blank signed sheets of her husband on which she wanted me to scribble a will in her favor. She left those sheets with me, and whole night I was thinking that this is the easiest way to help her. But next morning, I called her and refused. I said, sorry ma'am, I will not be able to misuse these sheets. Because Bhagavan's principles, they forbid me to do anything wrong, morally or legally. So this lady said, okay, go ahead. The way you want to go ahead, I want to now engage you as my counsel and you take care of me. I said, in that event, I will take these blank sheets before the judge, produce them before him, saying that my client is honest client. She has not misused those sheets. So let me conduct the case in this manner. Would you believe that the other side, who happened to be her sister-in-law, she set up a forged will, and she produced that forged will in the court. It so happened that the witness who had signed that forged will came to the court, and I saw Goddess Saraswati sitting on his tongue. He deposed against his own client. No, this will was signed when the mother-in-law was already dead, and her thumb impression was taken when she had already died. Meaning thereby, in our day-to-day life, if we are pure, then Bhagavan takes over. So this is what, according to me, divinity is. That living Him in our day-to-day life. That is, I think,
Amar,
most
you had another beautiful. I'm getting echo on my own side. I don't know why. I believe you had presidential award, and it'll be nice to hear how it happened, how whole thing unfolded for you.
well. That award is a memory for a very different reason. 26th December is my birthday. 26th December 86, for the first time, Bhagavan granted interview to my parents who had come to Puttaparthi. So I was inside with Bhagavan. Bhagavan, started showing to my mother my hand where he had materialized a bracelet for me. And he said that this boy is a good boy. January में special blessing देता हूँ. So I'll give special blessings in January. This happened at 5:30 in the evening in the interview room. So 6:30 bhajans were over. I reached the hostel. There was a student waiting for me at the door, and he told me, "Sir, warden wants you." So as I reached the warden's room, he showed a telegram to me. Now those days the rule was that warden would open the telegram in front of the boy. So as I opened the telegram, it read, "Selected for National Award to be given by the Prime Minister on 12th January, reach Delhi on 9th January. As I read the telegram, I was shaken because only 1 hour back, Bhagavan had told in the interview room that special blessings will be given in January. So soon my parents came to meet me and I showed them the telegram. They were overjoyed also. Next morning, I showed the telegram to Bhagavan. And Bhagavan, in his, magnanimity, looked at me and said, "If you want to go, go." So he expressed no surprise over the telegram, rather poured cold water on my rising aspirations. And that day I decided that unless Bhagavan wants me to go, I will not go. So my parents were not able to understand, my hesitation. They were to come back to Chandigarh soon. So they left very, very grudgingly as to why I was not coming. And I told them that till Bhagavan tells me clearly, I am not going to. So days passed by. 7th January came. 7th January, I was still sitting in the portico when Bhagavan walked and asked me, "Tu gaya nahi?" I said, "Bhagavan, aapne bola nahi." He says, "No, go. Go immediately." And rather, Bhagavan said, "Go by plane, come by train." Give me Pad Namaskar. I quickly rushed to my room, packed my belongings. In the night, I boarded Karnataka Express, reached Delhi on 9th morning. I was just wearing a white shirt and trouser with chappals in the biting cold of Delhi, where my cousin came to receive me and gave me some warm clothes. So this, in fact, national award for social work had been given to me because of the seva activities in villages and slums carried out by me from 1981 to 1985. So because of the village work, which I undertook as a Swami's organization volunteer, in fact. So that is how it happened. And I returned on 15th January because Bhagavan asked me to return by 15th January. So 15th January I returned. I showed it to Bhagavan. Bhagavan was very kind to publish this picture in Sanatan Sarathi in February 87, along with the Prime Minister and President. So this award became Sai Award for me for another reason. Now what happened that a few days later I got a letter from my parents, mother, saying that my sister had to be admitted in a medical college. And 5,000 rupees cash award had also been given along with a gold medal, etc. to me. So they wanted to use this 5,000 rupees for my sister's admission, which was a very big amount at that time in 1987. So I immediately replied back to my mother saying that you are free to use that money for my sister. In the evening, I was sitting for darshans. This was February 87. Bhagwan came to me and asked me, "Oh, 5,000 rupees ka kya kiya? What did you do with this 5,000?" So I told Bhagwan, "So far, nothing has been done." "No, what is in your mind?" he asked me. So I said, "Bhagwan, I had thought that I will use this money for poor patients in a hospital." Bhagwan said, "No, write a letter to your mother. Bhagwan desires money to be used for sister's admission." As if Bhagwan was reading all the letters. So I immediately wrote another letter to my mother that very night, posted it, and according to me, the chapter was over. 1st May 1987, we were in Vrindavan undergoing summer project, and we were in the evening sitting around Bhagwan when Bhagwan started talking about sealing on desires. Suddenly he turned towards me and said, "Amar Vivek got 5,000 rupees as national award, which he donated in hospital instead of buying clothes." Now, suddenly I was taken aback. I said, "Bhagwan physically knows everything, not only in omnipresence, that this money has gone for my sister. Why would Bhagwan say that this money has gone to hospital?" So I wrote another letter. Those days telephones were not easily accessible. So I wrote another letter to my mother asking her as to what had happened to that 5,000 rupees. After about 15 days, I got a beautiful reply. My mother said that we got your previous both the letters. Accordingly, your father went to the medical college, counted the money, gave it to the cashier. When suddenly the president of the managing committee of that college came and asked the cashier, "Do you know this gentleman?" He said, "No, sir." He says his son has recently been awarded by Prime Minister National Award, and he has been given 5,000 rupees cash prize. Can't we give him a discount of 5,000 rupees? So cashier said, "Sir, if you order, I will do it." So he says, "Okay, take my order." Cashier counted back 5,000 rupees and handed back to my father. My father came back home, told this to the mother, and mother said that Vivek has written in his letter that this money he wanted to give it in a hospital for poor patients. Next morning, we went and donated that money in the hospital. Now see Bhagwan doing all that.
So he fulfilled both the desires, huh?
Oh, yes.
Beautiful.
So he got the admission for my sister and he made sure that the money has gone to the right place. But how in the entire chain of events, he was himself the controller. So that is how it became the most cherishing moment for me.
Beautiful.
And it is again his grace that he carried out all this.
So after MBA, what happened? How did you transition after MBA?
Well, I always wanted to establish a hospital school and vocational school free of cost in a village. And when I passed out, I told you that when Bhagwan said, "What will you do in return?" So I prayed to Bhagwan that, "Bhagwan, I want to establish an institution in a village." Bhagwan said that, "I will do for you. You go and set up your legal practice." So immediately when I returned back, I started working. But I was nominated by Government of India to an international course of Commonwealth Youth Program in Asia Center, where I was required to go to 7 Asian countries and work on the village and youth development. So I underwent that diploma course for 1 year. That gave me a fair idea of setting up a village project. So I drew a project report, put word Jagrati on that, and reached Bhagwan. So I showed that project report to Bhagwan. Bhagwan took pen and put word Sri Satya Sai Grameen above the word Jagrati and signed it. So it became Sri Satya Sai Grameen Jagrati. Now on the first page, there was an index showing that I required 27-acre land for this project. So I showed it to Bhagwan. I said, "Bhagwan, we need 27 acres land." So Bhagwan kept his hand on my head and said, You need my hand. You don't need the land. My hand is always.
You need my hand, not land. Huh?
And that night, I boarded this Karnataka Express to come back to my place. I saw some gentlemen sitting by my side in the compartment, and they were also present in darshans that evening at Prashanti Nilayam. So they asked me that, sir, today evening we saw Bhagwan standing by your side. He was looking at number of papers and he was even signing something. What is that about? So I started narrating to them that, Bhagwan has blessed the setting up of a rural project. So these gentlemen were from Yamunanagar town in Haryana. And as if Bhagwan had already planned everything. So they said, sir, why don't you come to Yamunanagar? We will show you a piece of land. You come and set up this project in Yamunanagar. In my childlike manner, I told them that Yamunanagar is 110 kilometers from Chandigarh. How will I commute every day and do this work? They said, sir, just now you said Bhagwan's hand is going to do everything. And so after reaching there, I soon reached Yamunanagar. These people took me to a village. Now the most interesting event comes. I went to the village along with these gentlemen, met the Sarpanch, the headman, and he said, sir, for such a project where a free hospital, school, vocational center will come, we are ready to donate land. In fact, we have 27 acres land, the same figure which we require. We are ready to donate it to you. And I told him, I said, sir, I will go to Bhagwan, seek his permission and come back. He said, sir, no, wait here. We will pass the resolution from the panchayat, give you the resolution, hand it over to you. You take that resolution, place it at Bhagwan's feet. So they passed this resolution and gave me the resolution. At that time, I read the name of the village, Dadwa. So I asked this gentleman, Sarpanch, I said, what is the meaning of word Dadwa? Here was a shocker. He said, Dadwa means we had snake holes here, land of snake holes, Darad in Hindi, because of which this place was given the name Dadwa. Now we all know word Puttaparthi has the same meaning in Telugu, land of snake holes. So I was sure now that Bhagwan was doing everything. I took that resolution, went to Puttaparthi, showed it to Bhagwan. Bhagwan was coming towards my side. Suddenly a thought crossed in my mind that this resolution is in Hindi. I should have translated it in English for showing it to Bhagwan. When Bhagwan came and took up that resolution from me, asked me to look at the date. That date was 17 July. So Bhagwan said it was Guru Purnima day. Do you know the significance of Guru Purnima? On Guru Purnima, God takes a vow that so long as your vow is not fulfilled to carry out the seva activity, sun will not set. I am going to take over everything. Money is my responsibility, morality is yours. You work in a moral manner, don't charge any fee there, and I will take over everything. For 30 years, brother, I am seeing Bhagwan's hand every day in this project, which is created, conceived, set up by Bhagwan himself. I can tell you it is not a human effort. Nowhere a human being could have established such a project. But the way it is running, it shows Bhagwan is doing everything. And the promise which he made that I will carry out this work and it's my hand which is doing everything. It is Bhagwan who is doing it. So that has brought this change in my life. Now I have a purpose. Every weekend when I go there, I see Bhagwan and Bhagwan's Leela over there. So this is how Bhagwan is bringing change in our life.
And we notice these pictures and they are so beautiful. Actually, I was just watching these pictures. They are so beautiful. And this basketball court, it looks like a professional court you made.
In fact, this again has a story, beautiful storyline. We wanted best in the world for the children in the village. So we
Hmm.
created one of the best basketball courts. And I remember when the picture of this basketball came on my email in my office, when I opened it, some gentleman was sitting in front of me. And they immediately asked me that, sir, what is this place? So I told them that we are in a village running this free school till 10th class for the poor, orphan, downtrodden children. And for them, we have created this basketball court. They took the address. Next day, they visited there and they met the secretary and they asked how much this basketball court has costed. He said, sir, 11 lakhs. They issued a check of 11 lakhs. And they said this basketball court should be sponsored by us. I mean, I cannot describe the way Bhagavan is working, really. I am simply overwhelmed at the way Bhagavan is, I would say he is blessing us day in and day out. I have hundreds of such stories of this project, the way things are happening there. So this is not possible to be carried out by any human being.
Certainly. Actually, it's a very, heartwarming and a very humbling to, be witness to such unfoldings of divine. And with your story, I think we have almost 4 or 5 students, alumni who have started schools like that in India. One is in Odisha, one is in Karnataka, one is yours, one is in Sikkim. So it's a very beautiful to see how Bhagwan has planted these seeds and how it's becoming so beautiful. And let me show you some pictures to audience. So I'm sure viewers will love to watch these pictures, and you can tell us something about this. This is seem to be an altar or something.
Yeah, this is the mandir. Bhagwan's statue. I myself do not know that there is a gentleman in Hyderabad who manufactures beautiful statues of Bhagwan, and he picks up a school of Bhagwan which is imparting free education, and he gifts those statues to us.
Oh,
So
so
one
sweet.
fine day, I got a phone call from an unknown number, and this brother called me from Hyderabad. He says, brother, I know that you've set up a school which is totally free. So I have a beautiful statue to be gifted to you. So I'll be reaching Parthi. So when I reached Parthi, he gave me this brass statue, very heavy one of Bhagwan, and that we have installed in the
So
mandir
nice.
of
So
ours.
nice.
And this is the annual program, 23rd November, of the students' performance there on that day. This is the hall of the school where students, there is a small boy who is cutting the cake as Bhagwan. So this is the school's name, Sri Satya Sai Jagrati Vidya Mandir. It's a totally free school. And each classroom has overhead projector and green board. We are trying to give the best of the facilities to the children, which their counterparts in the cities would have got it. So that is Bhagwan's way of.
Sri Satya Sai Jagrati Vidya Mandir.
Yes.
So you have guests visiting you too?
Yes, we have of our elders from Parthi visiting us, blessing us, and they all the
For the
time.
viewers, he is Mr. Bhagya, our Bhagya sir from MBA that Amar was mentioning before,
Yes.
who taught him mathematics.
Yes. Not only mathematics, Sai mathematics. He is virtually our state civil convener, Mr. Chug. So this is how Bhagwan is blessing us.
I believe in this area you also have your medical place, a
Yeah, we
hospital,
have a
small
hospital.
hospital.
Yeah, we have a small hospital. So what we have done is we have employed doctors and other staff. In fact, I have a beautiful story how I met these doctors. Once I prayed to Bhagwan that Bhagwan, we need doctors. So Bhagwan said, you will find them there. So some gentleman met me and he told me that there is a doctor couple. So one evening, I'm talking of 1989, we went to this doctor couple's house in Chandigarh. And when I met them, I thought as if we knew each other for ages. And this gentleman, doctor and his wife, Dr. Vinod Singhal and Dr. Bharti, they are the, I would say, pillars of the work which is being carried out there. So they had tears in their eyes. They narrated to me that in 1986, they were in Liverpool. They had dream of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan telling them that you go to Chandigarh, rest of your lives, I will send you a rural work which you will carry out. So since 1986, we are waiting for this project. And the day we got possession of the land, this young couple, they were hardly 40 at that time, they shifted to the village, and they are the ones who are running the show, sitting there, and beautifully they are carrying out Bhagwan's work in a perfect manner as Bhagwan's workers would carry out. And sitting in that jungle where there would be no power for 4 days in a week. And we have now solar project, we have water project, safe drinking water in the village for the villagers, and all these facilities which have come up there. It's because these two gentlemen, the gentleman and lady, they are sitting in that place and running the whole show.
Beautiful.
So people in the village say कि भाई तुमने तो साईं बाबा को देखा होगा, हमारे साईं बाबा तो यही है. So they virtually worship them like Bhagwan, and very dedicated people. So this is how Bhagwan has put his people everywhere.
Beautiful.
So
I think it's a very fulfilling experience. Enjoy to share. That how Swami has guided every aspect of your journey of life, and I really feel so blessed and nice to hear this, how Bhagwan started MBA, how he has given you the opportunity to learn about various aspects of management and social work and everything, and how it's unfolded in that beautiful place. I'm sure that building must have been a unique building in that time when it came up, because it was such a remote village.
Yes.
And he has provided with lovely people around to take care of all of that. So do you have any other memory that you want to share before we close this session?
Less memories, but certain things which I would like to share. Bhagwan talks one thing. He has always said that your lives are my message. So what he expects from all of us, that our conduct should be exemplary. Now, I know this for certain, that we all have our careers, we all have our families, we all have our social, connections. But the biggest connection is the divine connection with Bhagwan. I can narrate nth number of incidents to you that where in my professional life I have felt challenges, but whenever Bhagwan is by my side, and these challenges, they just wither away. In fact, I have been on a very senior government responsibility as Additional Advocate General in Haryana from 2014 to 2019. During this period, I got number of allurements, and every day there would be testing time for me where my integrity counted the most. But I say only one thing, that it is Bhagwan who was my strength all the time. And when, as a student of Bhagwan, as a disciplinarian following his principles, I carried out my day-to-day activities, it came as a double blessing. One, the challenge was off me. Second, Bhagwan's blessings brought in abundance, high professional success for me. You see, it is simple arithmetic. Bhagwan will give you in abundance. Even your day-to-day life will have everything, provided we are following only one thing, that is Bhagwan's words. That is, we are having that integrity and morality and that discipline in our lives. So to all my respected brothers and sisters of Sai family, I have to tell you very, very important thing which Bhagwan has taught us repeatedly, that Bhagwan is very much with us all the time. Only thing is we have to feel him. We have to believe that he is with us. If we believe that, then there is nothing that can take away our beautiful relationship of Bhagwan all the time with us. And he takes care of our family. He takes care of everything in our lives once we take care of the one basic thing, morality in our day-to-day lives. So this is how Bhagwan is taking care of us.
Excellent. I have few pictures, Amar. I'd like to quickly go through them because I want to share these pictures and you can tell us if you have any memories of those pictures.
Bhaj Govindam drama time, Bhagwan is making me wear an earring and he's telling me how to, put the button. I didn't have a ear hole, but then I believe Bhagwan is catching me by my ear all the time.
So sweet. Actually, I would like to inform everybody that MBA was not just a professional course in which you focus only on the academics and professional learning, but the students were equally responsible to participate in co-curricular activities, sports, dramas, and everything. So this is one of that plays, Bhajagovindam, which Amar is talking about. So I think Amar is a very good memory also for you.
Oh.
What is he doing there?
Now, you see, Bhagwan is showing us walking sticks, which one of the kings used. Now, what Bhagwan is saying, that discipline and morality, they are your two walking sticks. So this is one of the Kodai sessions with us. And this is how Bhagwan used to tell us that discipline and morality, they are your walking sticks. So Bhagwan used to demonstrate all this to us.
So sweet.
This Bhagwan materialized moon on 1st May 1987.
Oh, this is the moon one?
Yes.
I wish we had a clear picture.
Yes, this is the only picture because that time we didn't have the beautiful picture, and Bhagwan is showing all the traits, attributes, and the things present there. So this is that picture.
I want to tell that Bhagwan has created couple of times moon.
Yes.
And he keeps showing the whole craters and everything, how beautiful it is. And he has in fact one day pointed out the river also, which he said this is the line of river. So I didn't know that this is a moon picture. I couldn't see the picture clearly.
Yeah, because this is the clarity is not there, but this is that.
Yeah.
This is Reconnect program of 21st August 2005.
The MBA Reconnect. Yes, yes.
Reconnect program. So Bhagwan asked me to speak on Sai Jagrati project. So this is that moment in my life.
Beautiful. I know, Mama, all these memories are what keeps us going and sustain in our lives.
I'll share something with you. If I have time.
Sure. You can.
We were required to excel in every field. So I was a very shy sports person. In 1987, the first year, I was away for the National Award ceremony. But in 1988, I was required to participate in sports. Our sports teacher was very strict, Mr. Krishna Singh. You recall him. He was an ex-army person. One day he came.
Yes. Kishanlal.
So he said, Brother Amar Vivek, you are doing so well. Why don't you participate in one sport where you get a prize from Swami? I said, sir, which is that event which I can where I can get prize from Swami in sports? I can't imagine. He says, there is one event, 10,000 meter race. I said, in my life put together also, I would not have run 10,000. So he says, no. Tomorrow morning, 4 a.m., I will see you in the Hillview Stadium. So next morning at 4:05, I was there at the Hillview Stadium, and he said, "Brother, you have come 5 minutes late. Please be early because I am coming all the way for you only from the staff quarters." He told
Right.
me that this ground is 600 meters. You just have to run 25 rounds to make it 10,000. And start from one. Every morning and evening, he was supervising, guiding me. He was coming to my room, massaging my legs with hot oil. He was going to the dining hall, asking our Venkatachalam sir, who is our
Teacher in
manager,
charge.
dining hall, to give me sprouts in the diet. Every morning and evening, he used to make me do the exercises to preserve my body muscles. First day, I completed 10,000 meters. That was the 20th day of my practice. And it took me 2 hours 43 minutes. And he told me, he says, "Sir, today I'm very happy. You have been running for 2 hours 43 minutes, almost close to 3 hours. So now the day you finish the race in 43 minutes, you will be a winner." And he prepared me. He used to make me run till the hill. Final day, he made sure, because of his practice, his training, I was able to finish this race just short of 43 minutes and win a prize, which was given to me directly by Bhagavan.
Oh, is that the picture? Okay, okay.
Yes,
Let me.
yes,
Is
yes. There is another picture.
okay.
There is another picture. Bhagwan giving prize on sports meet day.
So sweet. So you
Yes.
really ran 10,000 meters
10,000 meters.
run? Oh
I
gosh.
used to run every day 10,000 in the morning, 10,000 in the evening for practice. And this Krishan Lal, I can't forget him. The way he helped me.
He was the one who initiated us into physicality, whole physical
Yes,
conditioning, gymnastics. He was
absolutely.
our first and the only gymnastic teacher.
That's right. That's right.
So
Sir, I,
he brought some sense into us about the physical maintenance, body.
so
Lovely.
such
So I didn't
lovely
realize that you were also an athlete now. My God. Hmm.
because of him. Because of him.
Excellent. I think memories of our college
Yes.
life, school life is amazing. Amazing. Swami's grace.
This is how Bhagwan has, you know, kept those cherishing memories and moments every time to inspire us. I
Thank you,
still
brother. Thank you so much. I really don't have words to thank Bhagwan. Grateful to
yes,
him for all these opportunities that he keeps showering on us. And it was so great of you to share your journey and all the blessings that you have derived from Bhagwan with all of us. I'm sure it'll be cherished with everybody and so many of learning that you have received. Thank you very much. And thank
we
you
have
all, audience.
no words to thank Bhagwan in our lives.
Certainly. Sairam.
Sai Ram, brother. Sai Ram. Thank you.
Sairam. Thank you very much, Sairam, to everybody. The video will be available on the channel.